Hey everyone, Hallie here. Today I wanted to talk and have a discussion with you guys about the new changes that have been made to Overwatch 2 and what they could mean for Marvel Rivals. This new update that Overwatch 2 has coming out brings back something that players have wanted for a while, which was loot boxes, which may sound a little bit confusing to some of you. But essentially the way that Overwatch 1 worked is you got a lot of the cosmetics in that game for free just by playing the game and earning loot boxes. When Overwatch 2 was released, they removed that feature, making it so you had to basically pay for every single skin you wanted to get, which just made the game really boring because then you can't even grind for skins. It's something that is locked behind a paywall, whereas in Overwatch 1, it was something that wasn't locked behind a paywall. That's what I found incredibly frustrating about it, and that is why I quit playing Overwatch 2 myself. So it is interesting to see that Blizzard, especially, is now listening to their audience about what they want to see added into the game. Of course, to nobody's surprise, this is most likely entirely due to Marvel Rivals. This is the first actual piece of competition that Overwatch has had, basically ever. I really can't think of any serious type of competition inside of the hero shooter genre that Overwatch has had. The most recent game that comes to mind is Concord. So yeah, Overwatch 2 and just Overwatch as a brand has been a juggernaut in the hero shooter genre until Marvel Rivals came around. Now Marvel Rivals, you know, you're certainly not going to be earning skins incredibly quickly. However, it's certainly a lot more generous than the rate at which you will earn skins in Overwatch 2. To mention, Marvel Rival developers actually just listen to their player base and are much more receptive to just what players want, and skins in the game also don't cost $30, so that certainly does help with getting people to play the game. But it's just very interesting that Blizzard is so desperate that they are willing to bring back gambling mechanics. And whether you agree with the morality of, yeah, they're gambling mechanics, but it's okay, or yeah, they're not okay, regardless, they are gambling mechanics. And if you can spend money on these loot boxes, I think so far they said that you can't spend money on them, but you're definitely going to be able to. That is a gambling mechanic, and I mean, this is something that people have talked about for years. I don't really want to get into it in this video, but I mean, it's certainly controversial, and it's certainly a sign of being desperate if you are willing to return to something so controversial in order to just get a little bit of your player base back. But why did I want to talk about this? Why do I explain this so much? Well, I'm curious, and I guess it's kind of the whole theme of today's video. Will we ever see Marvel Rivals add loot boxes into their game in a similar aspect that we have seen Overwatch 2 recently bring back? Now let me talk about why I think we could see loot boxes introduced into Marvel Rivals, and I don't think it's that crazy of an idea. It simply comes down to the rate in which you earn cosmetics. In Overwatch, a huge part of Overwatch 1 and something that made it so addicting was the fact you could just play the game and win, and you could get a loot box, and that loot box could have a legendary skin for it for a character you like, or maybe, most likely, it was a character you didn't like, but it was still really cool, and it was so rewarding to get free skins. I mean, it is a gambling mechanic. It is a dopamine, it is a dopamine, rewarding activity, even if, especially when you introduce paid mechanics into them, it can get a little bit dicey. So could we see loot boxes added into Marvel Rivals? I'm quite mixed on this. On one hand, I think it's definitely a possibility, given that now Marvel Rivals will have a competitor where you can earn skins for their characters incredibly quickly and for free, as compared to in Marvel Rivals where you have to play a significantly larger amount of time just to get one character skin. So I will say that is definitely an improvement. And even if you're not getting the character skin you want, at least you're getting more character skins, which just makes it more rewarding. But again, it's a gambling mechanic, so it's like, it's very much very iffy on this. On the other hand, and what I kind of think about is just, would NetEase add this? How would players react? We got to remember that loot boxes were already introduced into Overwatch, and these things have been around since about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Like, I want to say 2016 is when loot boxes were really prevalent, and especially in like Overwatch. And since they have some history in Overwatch, I'm not sure if they would go over well being added into Marvel Rivals, because I mean that is a whole new mechanic they would have to code, and especially if these loot boxes, you can pay for them in Marvel Rivals. That is, I mean, it's definitely going to be controversial, but they will certainly make a lot of money, so I'm really not too sure. Could be good, but I really don't want to see them monetized, just because I feel like that promotes gambling. I mean, even not having them monetized, it can certainly still feel like gambling. But once you introduce some sort of monetization aspect where anyone, even a kid, could spend money on it, and have a chance at getting a skin, and it's only a chance. So I don't know. I just think their loot boxes are predatory. But if they're implemented properly and like you can't pay for them at all, I think they're okay. But yeah, it's just, it's very iffy, and I don't know. I don't know how it would go over in Marvel Rivals. The main benefit, of course, is the fact that you'd be able to unlock cosmetics significantly quicker. And I mean, I see that as a great thing. I'm sure everyone sees that as a great thing, because then you can get free stuff, and who doesn't love free stuff? But I'm not too sure. Then that brings into the question, how would that change their whole shop? Would they have to change that? I honestly personally think that we're just going to have to wait and see how the Overwatch community and how just loot boxes go over in general. Maybe this could start a wider trend in gaming where we see the return of loot boxes in some form. That would be incredible. that would be insane. But I also hope this does signal to just more competition in the industry, especially for Activision Blizzard. I think it's great that Overwatch is getting some competition. I also think it's awesome Marvel Rivals inherently has competition, because competition forces companies and producers and game makers, all of them, to not stagnate. They actually have to make good changes if they don't want to lose players to the competition. That's why competition is good. It only helps the consumer at the end of the day. One thing I do hope we see some competition for in the future is Call of Duty. Yeah, Blizzard has competition for games like Overwatch with Marvel Rivals, but I really do hope when we see the new Battlefield game introduced, and maybe whatever other games come out in the future. I mean, 1 year ago we had no idea of Marvel Rivals' existence. At least it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. So, maybe something will come out and take Call of Duty by storm, and they will actually have to make that game better. I know you guys probably mainly follow me from my Marvel Rivals content, but I am a Call of Duty YouTuber at heart. I love that game, and that's how I started this YouTube channel. But for so long, I would say especially ever since Modern Warfare 2019, Call of Duty has been stagnant because they have had no competition. The closest thing they have had was X-Defiant, which died in about 3 months. Call of Duty has just been incredibly stagnant. They have treated their player base like guinea pigs, where every game is this algorithmically discovered game where they find the perfect skill bracket of players in a casual Call of Duty team deathmatch game to make sure the game lasts as long as possible. And it is so manufactured garbage. Call of Duty is in a horrible state right now. I'm sure all of you guys know that. If you are a Call of Duty player, and if you're not missing out on anything. So, but yeah, I really do hope we see some competition more. Even more hero shooters, but also like to Call of Duty, just because. Yeah, competition's good. It only benefits the consumer at the end of the day, and if you complain about it, you are silly. But with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Would you like to see loot boxes added into Marvel Rivals? Do you ever think they will be added? I honestly have no idea. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm certainly interested. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. And just listen to me yap. I know this is a little bit of a different video, but I did want to yap about this. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.